Well, hello, everyone. I missed my intro. I hit the wrong thing.
Oh,
There,
Michael was
back
happy
on
about
back.
that.
Oh, I'm telling you, Michael, you tear us up. Hey,
Oh,
tonight we got the one and only Russell Easterbrook on. He graciously enough to agree to come on tonight. Ernie had an emergency at home. He couldn't be on, uh, but he apologized. He will be on at a later date. Um,
Thank you, Russell.
yep. I'm
yeah.
happy to do it. Thanks for having me on your show. Yeah,
Oh,
Ernie's a good guy. He's had a really
yeah.
good sighting, and his is really. I actually wrote it up for him and got it printed in Bigfoot magazine because I felt it was important that it should be
Right.
documented. And I'm also putting it in my book as well. It's a very good sighting, and it's got a lot of similarities to the Albert Osterman account, which is pretty interesting. How there's so many similarities that you don't normally
There is.
see.
There is. And with the hand signals and all that, that is
Right.
just like, wow.
And
Mhm.
to see two of them actually talking to each other, same way as the Osterman film,
Oh,
the
Yeah.
wow.
Osterman account. Yep. So it's
Yes, that's the thing, and really makes you wonder. Well, but that goes back to the natives.
right. Native Americans. Yep.
Yep.
And yeah, they were
Yep.
able to. They were able to actually communicate with them as well. Whether they use their language, their Indian language, or whether they were able to understand some of what Sasquatch was saying, but um, they traded
Exactly.
and they traded with them too. So I mean, you had to have an understanding of what you were doing if you were trading. The Sasquatch had um, herbs that were very important for medicine making for the Native Americans. And that's what he was trading. And he wanted something else in return, maybe food or dried salmon or whatever. And
Mhm.
and that's how in order to do that, you had to have some kind of communication there about what we're doing, what we're trading, and so forth. The Cherokee were one
Exactly.
traded with them a lot. The a lot of tribes in British Columbia did as well. So
I, I know um, the Alaskans. There is a couple stories I heard the natives up there trading with the Bigfoots.
mhm.
And that was interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and people don't realize how long these Sasquatches were around.
That's true. It's like, in my book, I'm doing a lot of research with the Hudson Bay Company. And the Hudson Bay Company was established in about 1670 in Canada.
Mhm.
Some of their early um, forts that they built where they were uh, collecting furs from the Indians, and then the Europeans that came in and hunted and trapped as well were trading furs there to the Hudson Bay Company. But they had sightings, and there were journals being written down by certain people that were able to put some of this information in there that they had a sighting, and that's pretty early. So
Right.
for sure.
And yeah, and the earliest sighting report I got for my area here was 1962.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wayne crossed over in front of this lady and her cousins. Well, they were teenagers then,
Hmm.
and crossed the road in front of them. They get back to her house. She's telling her mom and dad about it, and they says, "You didn't see nothing. You're not talking about it. Don't say nothing to nobody."
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
but she
They
ended up talking to the farmer behind their property the one day about it. He says, "Yeah, I've seen it 3 or 4 times." He said,
There
"But
you
people
go.
think I'm crazy."
Yep. So he doesn't talk about it, but he's seen it. So
Mhm.
Yep,
and could have been her mom and dad could have seen it at some point too, and they didn't
Yeah.
talk about it, so they don't want you to talk about it. So
yep,
Mhm.
yep, for sure.
exactly. Now,
I really
that's
yeah.
go ahead, Terry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I really like now how it's not so taboo anymore because more and more people are talking about experiences and getting stuff out there.
Right.
So we're making it more acknowledged
Mainstream,
and that,
more mainstream.
Right.
yeah, more mainstream. So people
Yeah.
don't feel like they're crazy.
Yeah. And people, that allows people to feel more comfortable about coming forward. I mean, when I spoke at the Virginia Bigfoot Conference in 2016, I had probably 10 or 12 people come up to me and tell me about the sightings that they'd had that were never written down, never
Mhm.
told to anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
those were just out there and nobody knew about them. But
Yeah,
I took some notes and now I have that in my file. But it's
Right.
amazing how many people out there have seen something and then don't say
exactly.
anything about it. So,
Well,
Exactly.
I know for a fact there were several that I got that was not put in the archives, like from the BFRO or other groups, uh,
yeah,
that they said to me, and it's like, okay, I got the reports, I got it in the file back here,
right.
you know,
Yeah, yep.
and that's the thing,
Yeah,
you
and I
know.
do
Mhm.
too. And those reports are really valuable because they aren't out there anywhere else, but you have them, and then you can look for. I mean, we're always looking for similarities between reports. I mean,
Yes,
this particular thing happened, or they did this, or they did that, or they were peeking in my window, or whatever.
uh,
It's like you're looking for similarities, and that's what helps you to formulate uh, a description of what some of their habits are and some of their tendencies. So, um,
right.
so, so it's real important, and you have to go back in history too. And the more you go back there and look at stuff, you'll find out a lot there too. I did a
That's the thing.
yeah.
Uh, where I cross check my reports. I go on different databases. Uh,
Hmm.
I pull a Les Odell. I get it on the computer and Google this stuff. Uh, I don't do the library as much as he does, but you know, I, you got to cross these everything off and cross check it, and
Right. Yep. Yeah,
you know,
and in history, it's a little hard to find some material. I mean, because let's face it, during the gold rush, there was a lot of people all of a sudden that were in the woods, and
Mhm.
those people were on every stream and every creek and lake, and they were looking for gold everywhere. And it's like so that had to cause a disruption in the life of the Sasquatch and his family.
right?
Definitely.
And so, but those people who were part of the gold rush, probably a great percentage of them didn't know how to read or write. So there's nothing
Yeah.
down. So they had
Mhm.
experiences for sure, and unfortunately, it's lost. But the whole, and I put this in my book. I've done a lot of work on this. The gold mining in California, and then it moved up to British Columbia, and then it moved to Alaska, to the Yukon, all three of those places. That's that whole west coast of North America was really devastated with the searching for gold, and all the things that come along with that. I mean, these
Right.
people, when you have 2,000 people come into a particular area to look for gold, that brings shopkeepers, that brings carpenters, that brings sawmills. I mean, the amount of lumber that was used for each of those gold rushes. I mean, they would strip every tree off the hillside and saw it into lumber to make these shanty towns for the
Yep.
miners to live in. So that all had to affect any kind of Sasquatch activity in the area and then force them to move somewhere else and try to adapt to a different area and different food supplies. And there had to be a lot of things going on there. So it's pretty interesting when you look into it. And
Wow.
And how many of them got themselves in trouble with a Sasquatch?
well, that's true too. I mean, they're not all friendly, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
and if you were to shoot at them or to wound one of the young ones or something, they would certainly do you
Oh,
physical harm. No question
yes,
about it. So,
yes. Their size right there.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. They are
Eh,
very muscular and very powerful. Their arms are so long. They have tremendous leverage. The things they can do
Mm-hmm.
is just incredible for the amount of strength that they're able to produce from that leverage and so forth. So,
well, yeah, you know, the one I saw, I still say it was a juvenile. It was about 7 foot tall,
mhm.
4 foot wide. The muscles on it just, like we talked earlier, how it scared me just because of the build of it,
Right.
and and you know the strength they possess is just crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if you tick one off, and what's going to happen
Mm-hmm.
to you? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
quickly. You
Yeah.
know,
You're not going to run from them. You're not going to get away. If it's decided it's going to get you, it's going to get you, and
that's the truth.
it's not going to be pleasant.
Or it's got some other ones around that can catch you for them.
Well, that's true too. I mean, if somebody shoots one of the bigger ones or something, then I mean, it would be something similar to Ape Canyon. It'd be all their buddies come out, and it's like they're going to do harm to
Yeah.
you if they can. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I
Mm-hmm.
agree.
yeah, I think people need to be more aware of that. That there are a great many of them out there. That I think there's probably 3 different types myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
have different characteristics about them,
Right.
and
Yeah.
some may be more willing to befriend, um, like Mary Green, the researcher that had a group living near her, and she was able to see them, and they would come to the house and so forth. I mean, but then there's others that are not so friendly, and they tend to be, they could be very dangerous if you get them riled
Right.
up in the wrong
Mm-hmm.
way. So,
Exactly. Uh,
Good
like,
point, Vance.
yeah, Vance puts up, look how many areas out west during that period of the Go West were oddly named: Ape Canyon, Devil's Lake, Devil's
right.
Ridge, etc. Yeah,
Yep.
he's right. Yeah,
And that's exactly right. And that would have been how they would have been able to reference a Sasquatch without actually using the word. Or it was commonly called the wild man of the mountain too, as well.
Yeah.
But
yes.
you know, you know, to give it a place, a name that would reference that. So for sure. Yep.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You just really, really don't know for sure what type of a creature it is yet. Uh,
Right.
there's pictures of those, Jane. Uh, Jane Freshwater Owl asked, has anyone seen
Oh,
a
that's
baby one?
Sandy Lincoln. She's using someone else's phone.
Oh, okay. Uh, uh,
Well, there certainly are juveniles out there. There's no question about that. It's like
yes.
the juvenile footprints you don't see as often, um, because they're so small. So that would certainly, and they don't sink into the ground as much as the full size ones. So
Mm-hmm.
the tendency is you wouldn't know that they were around unless you had a sighting where you saw them or something. Most sightings happen crossing a road, because there's a lot of people and cars, and so that makes
Crossing the roads or trails. Exactly.
and that's because that's where the people are. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
got a section in my book where I was working on the actual pathways through the country that Sasquatch could use. I mean, railroads,
Mm-hmm.
power lines,
Yeah.
um, the Canadian
yeah.
border. The Canadian
Yes.
border is 100-foot wide slash through the wilderness that goes from east to west of the whole country. And then that allows for easy access if a Sasquatch wants to move around over that. And it goes through wilderness areas where he's never going to be seen. So railroads are
Yeah.
big. Pacific Railroad through Canada is another one. It goes through so much
Right.
wilderness area. I mean, they can walk, 50, 60 miles in a night and not even be seen. So,
Well, that's the thing I've said for the last 2 years is I'd like to talk to some of these train engineers.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I really would.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
will have seen stuff. There are reports of them that have seen them.
Yeah.
The train goes by, there they are on the edge of the track, and
Yeah,
they get out of the way, but the people have seen them there. So,
that's the thing. Yeah, they those things are just so elusive
right.
per se.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and they can move quickly.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
So
yes.
you might see them and then they're gone.
Mhm.
And they prefer not to be seen. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that in itself is they're always going to keep some trees or bushes or something between you and them because that's what they prefer is not to be
Yeah.
out open or to be
Yep.
seen. So they take advantage of these type of areas that you can move around, a lot of miles in a night without being seen. The Blue Ridge Parkway is another one in my area where that joins Jefferson National Forest, which is one of the larger national forests in the country. It's
Right.
and the Smoky Mountains. So that roadway connects those two places, which are definitely big areas that have
Well,
a family
that's
group living there. So
Jamie King and myself discussed that too. We call them the lines, how
right,
they line up. Like from Salt Fork, can actually come in a sort of an angle northeast from Salt Fork coming up this way that ends up going up toward the Alleghenies, actually.
okay, yeah,
Uh, and it's almost a straight line, almost a straight line, but the woods and everything, how it goes in agricultural lands. So yeah,
yep.
Is it a ley line?
yeah,
Is it
it's like a ley line. Yes.
Okay.
And the other thing is, that they, I think at Salt Fork, I think that, I've always had a theory there that because there's a lot of sightings happen there. I have a
Mhm.
theory that the uh, the mama Sasquatch brings the young ones into that area to observe and to watch the humans who
Oh.
are camping in the area.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and to see how and to show them how they react to whistles and howls and other noises that they make. And I think it's like a training ground. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like,
They may
we're the
come.
zoo. We're the zoo.
That's right.
Yes. Salt Fork Boot Camp area. That's what that is. I
Yeah,
believe they come and watch us through there,
yeah, I think so too. That's what I thought.
and they know they can get food late at night.
Yeah,
Yes, we can.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the female Sasquatch teaches the young one. Well, this is where you can get some food here or there, or this is how they're going to react if you make this sound. If you throw something, this is how they're going
Mhm.
to react. And
Well,
so
none of them wanted my mountain pie. My mountain pies I made.
and so they observe, and then they're there for a few hours, and then they leave the area. I don't think they stay there. I think they may go, who knows, 20, 30 miles away at the end of
Mhm.
the night back to a.
Well, my campsite, the camp out I had in April,
Uh,
was a very active camp that time.
Mhm. It was.
Through the whole park, not just at the group camp, but the whole park.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what was it? 5 different sightings, 7 different
Oh
prints,
my
or 7
gosh.
sightings, or 5 different prints. Uh,
There
they
were
found tree
a
breaks,
lot.
knocks, howls. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
a lot.
yeah.
April
So
was a very active time there, and I was shocked.
it's a training ground for the young ones. That's what I think,
Yeah.
and I think that's why
Yes.
they do so many different things. You can hear tree knocks, you can hear whoops, you can hear whistling. I mean, they don't do that kind of stuff all the time. Let's face it. I mean,
No.
but when they're here trying to show the young ones how the humans react to certain things. When I throw a stick or I throw a pine cone or a stone or whatever, see how they react, and I think that's what it is.
Yep.
I really do.
I agree with you. I do, because that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Because, yeah, with all honesty,
I mean, they got to learn. Sometimes the juveniles need to learn what they can do and what they can't do around the humans. And Sasquatch has been something I believe has been able to adapt very well, even from colonial times. I mean, as everything was moving westward, their living arrangements had to change because of the settlers moving in, and they come in, they cut down trees again. There's logging, so they come in that area, they kill the deer and stuff that the Sasquatch is eating. So the Sasquatch has to adapt to that, and so he moves to a different area, or he takes advantage of the humans that came in that brought sheep or goat. Yep. Or some other predator that they will then go and get them and use them as food. They will adapt to that because that's what came into their area. So, I think that they're very adaptable.
And I kind of got to agree with that because last February, Mary Fabian and I went on a research up in New York. Mm-hmm. And this farmer had a bunch of sheep that got slaughtered.
Yep.
And they put him out of the sheep business.
Oh my gosh!
But but
I think usually they're more careful about that. They like to pick. They might come in and take one or two, or take a couple of chickens or something, but not to necessarily make a big bloodbath of the whole area, because they realize that if they do that, then the humans are going to come out with their guns and try to get rid of them. So.
See, the farmer didn't live up on that farm.
Right.
So he come up and where's the sheep? He goes down and it's like a kill box there. There's a bunch of them that were slaughtered up.
Yeah.
And
yep. So it was food for them. And it's like,
yeah.
The Hudson Bay Company did the same thing when they went into these wilderness areas and cut some trees down and built a fort to trade from. And collect all the furs from the Indians and stuff from the area. They would have some sheep and goats, and they would have some stuff like that were able to graze around the outside of the fort. And sure enough, it was like they kept detailed numbers of what they had, and they would lose a few every year. And sometimes they chalked it up to, well, maybe the Indians came and got it or whatever. But it's like, there was a good likelihood that the Sasquatch did as well and took advantage of that as easy food source for them. So.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, they're a big. They need a lot of calories.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
They eat a lot of vegetable matter and obviously nuts and roots and tubers and that kind of stuff, but they need a certain amount of the protein stuff too from, deer or elk or whatever is available to them. Those that live along the seashore spend a lot of time down there with the shellfish, getting those and getting ducks and things that are available to them on the seashore. So it's a different type of food, but still the amount of calories they need is still very similar. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. How much calorie intake, protein intake does a full-grown Sasquatch take? We don't know this stuff.
I read something somewhere that someone was guesstimating like 12,000 calories a day.
Yeah, that seems like a lot, but you compare it to a bear of similar size. What a big black bear that's 300, 400 pounds might have for its caloric intake, and it would be comparable based on the weight.
Yes.
Of the two things where you're looking at. So that's a good way to get an estimate. I seem to come up more around the number of like 400 calories in a day. I mean, it depends a lot on a number of factors too, what they're doing, how physical they are, or whether they're at rest a lot or something. They're not burning as many calories. The weather, the temperature, all these things, and the
Exactly.
food source that is available to them. I mean, what's out there for food? Are they eating cat nine tails, the tubers? The whole plant is edible. The Native Americans eat the whole plant. So, you know, they get into that, they eat that, or do they have a diet that's more along the line of a lot of deer and elk, and stuff like that? So.
And I believe some people say they just eat like the liver and the heart and leave the rest. I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that
I've
either.
been there.
No, I
I
don't.
think they eat everything. They utilize everything.
Yeah, I think they do too. I think they utilize everything. They may eat those things first that they like. Those
Right.
Those are the delicacies. That, like we eat the tenderloin. That's what we like the best. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's,
Exactly.
but,
And
I think that they need the calories, and if they're living in a group where there's 3 or 4 of them or whatever, and they're bringing the food back to the group to eat. I mean, not only do they need to eat, but the group needs to eat. So they can't afford to leave something behind. You know, I think typically, unless they're scared off or some other reason, I mean, I think they typically eat pretty much what they kill. So.
right. And well, it's something Tim Gayhart says too. Bears, they need to store fat for the winter. Bigfoot doesn't need to store the fat.
Right.
And bears don't sleep all winter.
No, especially in my area. You know, maybe in Canada they do, but they may sleep 6 months up there. But in Virginia, they may sleep a few weeks, but I don't think it's all winter. There's food available all winter round down here, nuts and stuff. There's all kinds of stuff on the ground from the fall. So, and during the fall, that's true. The bears do. They go into this habit of where they eat apples and nuts and anything they can find. They eat everything. They get corn patches. They'll eat. I even had one that come into my area and was eating broccoli out of a field.
Yeah.
The fellow planted all broccoli, and I was looking at the droppings, and sure enough, it's all it was. He was eating broccoli. So the bear was taking advantage of what was there. So,
is there any evidence that they use the tools of the dead animals that they've killed, or like come across, like bones for, like if they make them chiseled or make them sharp, or kind of like what Neanderthals did back in the
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, but I don't have a lot of accounts of them using a tool.
Right.
Now we know that they do some wood knocking, so they obviously pick up a stick.
Yeah.
Which in itself is difficult. If you've ever gone out in the woods and tried to do some wood knocking and pick up a stick off the ground and try it, you'll find that most of the sticks you pick up are pretty rotted. As soon as you hit the tree, it breaks. I mean, it's not a good stick. Now, if you're like Bill and you're carrying your baseball bat with you, then you got a good tool. But I don't think I don't think the Sasquatch necessarily uses tools, but certainly there is a possibility that it could. I mean, they don't have claws; they have nails. So it's like when there's a lot of thought out there that they bury their dead. If they do, they got to be able to dig with their hands, and maybe they use a stick or something. It's very likely. They're intelligent enough. So
yeah,
they are intelligent. And Sandy or Jane, whichever one she is, goes, I think food may be scarcer in the winter. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But your deers and there's other greenery they will eat.
Yeah, and I think that they migrate too a little bit. And there again, a lot of people don't think so, but I think they do to a certain extent. If they're in Canada, I don't think they can survive the winter in Canada and stay there.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think
to migrate.
They migrate and maybe come into Pennsylvania. I mean, as far down as that, and which opens up a lot more options. There are certain plants that keep their leaves all winter. honeysuckle and stuff like that, which is very nutritious. So they could eat that kind of. I mean, because let's face it, they like the vegetarian stuff as well.
Right.
Tubers. There's all kinds of tubers out there. Cat nine tails, Jerusalem artichokes. Indian potato. I mean, it just goes on and on. There's all kinds of stuff that they can just pull out of the ground, and they've got some tubers on it, and they're very nutritious because those tubers have a lot of what the plant needs to actually live next spring. So
exactly, and that's the fruits is a little more scarce, but not totally scarce. And look at the deers; they don't migrate.
Right?
They stay in the same area.
They do.
They know how to scrounge for food. So
right, and for the deer, their stomach changes over in the winter, so they're eating buds off bushes. I mean, that's primarily what they eat. A moose, on the other hand, he's eating bark off a tree. I mean, that's what they come down to eating during the winter because that's what's available to them. But their stomachs are changed over so that's what they can digest. So that's what they have to eat. If you went out there and fed them a bale of clover or something, they'd eat it and their stomach wouldn't digest it and they'd die. So they have to have the what their stomach is able to digest. So for the deer, they're eating those browsing is what they call it when they're eating all the buds off the bushes and stuff. If you're cutting firewood, good time to cut firewood is I cut the trees and let them land on the ground, and then the deer come in at night and eat all the buds. So
Yep.
So they wouldn't have been able to get that because the tree was standing, and by just dropping it on the ground, you really benefit. Rabbits do the same thing; they eat those buds as well. So,
Sandy asked, how far do you think they migrate? I think not actually migrate. They got like a certain area they work around.
A home range.
Yeah, where they, they're one big circle.
Yeah, they would have the same as a mountain lion would. That would be comparable because a mountain lion you're probably looking at a couple 100 miles for a circle for a mountain lion. I mean, it may vary some. It depends on how available the food is in that area. That's the key. It's like it's the same for the Sasquatch. If he's living in Canada and there isn't as much food, if he comes south and gets into upper Pennsylvania, and then he's able to find a lot of food, well, then he won't go any further south. He'll stay where the food is. So
exactly. But anyhow, it's time.
It's time.
We're going to take like a 6.5 minute news break, Russell.
Okay.
Thanks to my buddy, Vance Nesbitt. He does the news for us. If I get the right one this time, Vance, don't yell at me. Let's see here. And that's the one.
Well, welcome to another Wednesday night of Agent Insider News exclusively in Agents of the Unexplained. And no, I'm not sitting next to Bill. We are social distancing. I'm far away. We're not holding hands. But he is pushing buttons, and he knows how to push the Agent Insider News buttons. So here we go. Let's kick it off on this Wednesday. I'm sure you may have heard this story, and I wanted to point out a few obvious things in this story. Out of Arlington, Virginia, at the end of last month, which was a week and a half ago, August 31st, Defense Department spokesman Brigadier General Patrick Ryder holds a press conference at the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. And Ryder spoke about the second anniversary of the military withdrawal out of Afghanistan. That was horrible. And gave an update on a newly established website where U.S. government and military personnel can report UAP and UFO sightings. The Pentagon's office responsible for investigating unidentified flying objects, UFOs, as if you didn't figure that out already, a long time ago, officially known as unidentified anomalous phenomena. I'm sorry, I believe they got that wrong in this article. It should be unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, and has introduced a new website aimed at providing the public with access to declassified information about these mysterious sightings. Now, that sentence in itself is kind of unusual because how long has the government been denying any UFO records and they've done to their research? But that sentence stated public access to declassified information. That means there's plenty of classified information that we do not know about. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or otherwise known as AARO, or AARO, introduced this website as part of its mission to enhance transparency. Let's go back to declassified word for a moment, won't we? Regarding UAPs. The website, described as a one-stop shop for UAP-related information, is set to become a go-to resource for both the curious public and government personnel. Air Force Brigadier General Patrick Ryder, the Pentagon's press secretary, announced that the site would offer a treasure trove of data, including declassified photos, again, more photos that we're not allowed to see, and videos of resolved UAP cases. Furthermore, it will soon enable service members, federal employees, and contractors with direct knowledge of UAP-related government programs or activities to submit reports for review by AARO. The department is committed to transparency. Again, declassified is the word in parentheses there, with the American people on AARO's work on UAPs, Ryder said. Now, another interesting thing about this article, which continues on, but the article continues on with the history of how AARO became such a thing and the push through Congress and how many sightings there are on the website. Nowhere in the article does it give the website. So if you're interested to go to the Pentagon's new AARO website and look up some of the stuff yourself, you'll probably have to do a Google search. When we come back, something caught out of Yazoo City, Mississippi. We'll be right back. Are you low on Bigfoot wares and apparel? Visit gotknockers.org to fill that void. Got Knockers has everything from soaps, plushies, shirts, hoodies, jewelry, and so much more. Inspired by a sighting of Bigfoot himself, Got Knockers was born. Visit gotknockers.org. Also, head on over to Facebook to Got Knockers community page, where you will find the best and brightest in the world of Sasquatchery. Got Knockers, brought to you by the mysterious tree knocker in the dead of night. gotknockers.org. And as previously stated, out of Mississippi, more specifically, Yazoo City. An alligator caught in the river in the west central Mississippi is believed to have broken the state's record, coming in at a whopping 802 pounds and measuring 14 feet 3 inches long. Boy, without that 3 inches, it probably went from a mild-mannered, timid little thing to a killing machine. Yeah, 4 hunters that spent 7 hours looking for this alligator. They believed it was only 12 feet long, but then they soon came to realize it was potentially a state record. So where are you from? Yazoo. Actually, Yazoo was named by the French explorer Robert La Salle in 1682 as Rivière des Yazoo, in reference to the Yazoo tribe living near the river's mouth. That's it for this edition of the Agent Insider News. And always remember, you know more now than you did 10 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. We're a little smarter. Maybe. Maybe.
More trivia. Yep.
Yep. But thank you, Vance. He's been doing the news segments for us, and I greatly appreciate it. Something Jamie Crawford wrote. He goes, I think they go from Great Lakes to at least Kentucky. There seems to be a trail that goes that far.
Yeah, and it's very, very possible. I mean, it's certainly within their ability to cover that much ground. They're, again, based on food and stuff they find along the way and be able to get into a spot where they could, find food fairly easily, then they would certainly do that and move into that area. So,
and the winters we've been having here in Pennsylvania has been mild for
Yes.
a lot of years. So I don't think they're traveling much.
No, I don't think they have to go too far. Unless you're in upper Canada somewhere. I mean, you got to come. That's a little further to go, but you're a lot happier to be in upstate New York or something, which still has a good amount of winter, but may have more food availability than up in northern Canada. But there again, there could be caribou up there. There could be other things that they can survive on, for sure.
Exactly. And this is all hypothesis anyhow about them doing this. So, yeah.
You have to start somewhere. So you got to pick and choose where you're going to start. You're looking at something like that to research it.
Exactly. And something I said I wanted to touch base with you on earlier on the pre-show is about the passing of Larry Batson. And he made this mug for me.
Yep. I've got one too.
But this is from the sketch he did of the one I saw.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he made sure he did one because as soon as they said they were making them, I ordered one.
Right.
And he told me, he says, we're going to do it from your sketch. Great. So,
yeah. Larry was a good friend. I met Larry at the 2016 Virginia Bigfoot Conference. He was doing a presentation there with some of his animals, and I was doing a presentation there on Sasquatch, and we got to meet there, and he was very complimentary of my program, which it was the first program I'd ever done. It's the first time I'd ever spoke at a big conference like that and everything. So I thought it was okay, but there was certainly a lot of room to do better. But he was really very genuinely complimented it, and he was just a really a really wonderful person. I enjoyed working with him on his Bigfoot show. He got me started on doing podcasts as his co-host for a while there, and that was great. And I really enjoyed that and learned a lot. Met a lot of great people on his show too. So he loved animals and he loved kids, and he was a great artist as well. And he was
he did that drawing of mine. He's talked to me about how it affected me and everything. And he was a real encouragement. And, like I said, it kind of broke my heart when he passed. And It's a shame. Val, you were asking when? Last week. He passed away last week.
Yeah.
And
And we lost Scott Carpenter too, just a few weeks before that.
that, yes.
That was
And-
really a shock that to lose him at that, and so we've lost a lot of people. Mike Green also
yes.
passed away this year. He was a friend of mine that I spoke to numerous times about his encounter, and so there were three really important people in the Bigfoot world and other things in their
Yes.
life they did, and that we really lost this year so far. And it's like it's been
And that's the thing. We're losing these ones, and it sucks. That's all I'm going to say. It sucks.
It sure does. Yeah.
Wow. And Scott Carpenter was another one that, like you were saying, and he was down to earth.
Yep.
And willing to give you information and that. And
Yep.
then we had Larry, and it's Larry.
And
That
Larry,
really.
Larry did so much for kids too. I mean, he had
Oh my God, yes.
his podcast during the week, drawing animals for the kids, and he would show them how to draw the animals, make a circle, and then make this circle, and then make this line, and he was really patient, and he got a lot of enjoyment out of that, and I'm
Yes.
sure there's a lot of kids that he
And
helped
he was
them.
doing those school things where
Right.
he did the videos with the schools and
Yep.
showed the animals and that.
Had all his animals there, and
Yeah.
yep.
And my prayers still go out to his family and Cher and that. His
Yeah.
animals and Cher. And Cher she got a lot on her plate. She really does.
Yeah.
And I'm very appreciative of how he helped me. And truthfully,
He helped a lot of people in a lot of
Yes.
ways. He was on Johnny Carson's show. He was on
Yes.
Free, and he had some of his animals, and he was on a lot of Mutual of Omaha.
the house. Yep.
So he was well known, and certainly somebody that put a lot of effort into what he did, and did these demonstrations at schools and showing these kids these animals that they would never have seen if it hadn't been for him bringing them there for their program to see them. So
Right.
he was a special person, and I'm certainly going to miss him.
Oh, we are. And like I said, prayers to Cher and the family and the animals, and all the people that is close to them, they affect everyone. And Val, Daniela put out a message. She's doing a show in Carrie's memory, but I haven't heard anything about Larry's yet. But with Larry, it was kind of expected. Carrie's was a tragic accident.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Carpenter was really quick too. It was
yes.
Yep.
That was a brain aneurysm, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
and life is fragile. I found that out at the beginning of summer.
that's true. Yeah, you know, Larry.
and
what
so
Larry would have been facing. And,
yeah,
I have the Parkinson's disease, the same as Larry had, and so I understand a lot about it, and he did too. He was very knowledgeable on it. When we talked about it before the show, sometime we talk about how it affects us both differently, and some of the things we've seen doing the research about it. But
yes,
it's
that's the thing. You guys had that in common, and Bigfoot in common, animals in common. So it was meant to be that you guys were able to get together.
Sure.
But life is fragile, and I didn't think I was going to make it there in the beginning of June. That day I went for that helicopter ride. You know, I was scared of that. And it's like, wow, I'm not done yet.
You never know.
Yeah. No, you don't. You have time. But all right, let's get back on a happier subject. Tara,
What?
tell them what you're doing this weekend.
I am going to the Cambria Heritage. It's Arts Festival at Dumont Lake. It's near Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to be doing my first speaking engagement.
Oh boy.
Yes, so I'm very excited.
She's gonna screw up. She's gonna screw up.
I'll just laugh. Just laugh and just keep going.
There you go. That's what you got to do. Yep.
Exactly.
You'll forget a word or something. It's like, well, I want to use that particular word, and it's like, oh shucks, I forgot it. And it's like something else.
Yeah. I'll probably have some brain farts, and I'll probably have some buffering moments where I'm quiet for a few seconds, but
yeah.
I know.
No, her buffering moments be
No, usually I'm either like dead stare in the face or looking off like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what's for you, Russell? Like, what's your most interesting, I guess, I don't want to say topic, interesting fact that you have, or interesting, buffering. Yep, I'm buffering.
Well, writing this book that I'm working on is a new experience for me, because I've never done anything like that. I've written a number of articles for magazines and stuff. I used to write for football knowledge. It was a website that I wrote on about the New England Patriots and stuff. And so I did that. I've written. Yeah, well, that's what the hat's all about here.
Gotcha.
And but I've also written articles on colonial monetary, what their money looked like at that time, and economics. That's the word I was looking for. See, that's one of those brain farts with the word. Economics. So I've done some of that kind of stuff. So, but I've never actually done a book. So this is my first attempt at that, and I feel like it's going to be pretty good. And I think it's going to be interesting, so that people will be able to read it. There'll be a lot of stuff in it that I'll touch on, a lot of things, maybe just briefly, but enough to get their thinking pattern going to want to know more. I mean, that's what we're trying to do is educate the public as much as we can with our research. And it's like, and get that stuff out there so people can think about it. And then,
amen.
Yep. And then
awesome.
Do their own research or continue on with the thinking process and think about something that I didn't think about. So
exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And that's how the whole process needs to move forward in this research world for the big footery, as people call it. It's like, because it's that's what we need. And it's like, I kid Mike Hartman about I picked his book up at a yard sale for $2.
I saw that.
I got him out in my vehicle to take to camp with me. I'm going to walk around. Look what I found in the garbage.
Yep. And, but I kind of picked on him about it, but it was really good the way he'd done it. And that was his first book that he did. And, I found it very, very good reading. It's not the kind of thing that you got bored with or you got tired of or fall asleep on. It's like, it was definitely very good. So
awesome.
He did a good job.
That second book I got of his is you make it your own journal is what it is. And that's very, that's very good to have.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, and I'm so happy to have it too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. I looked on Amazon the other day, but I didn't see it. All it was that the one that I found, his first book.
They should all be there somewhere, but who knows?
Yeah,
With Amazon, but yeah, that's the thing. I could write a book, but it'd only be 3 pages of writing, and the rest would be pictures.
well, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So
I know everyone loves a picture book.
they do. Yeah, I've got a lot of pictures, and you have to spend a lot of time contacting these particular people that have the pictures and getting permission to use them and stuff. Some of them, especially from the gold rush period, and
Yes,
and that kind of stuff. Some of those old photographs around 1900 and stuff. But most places everybody's been real receptive to, just quote our name under it, the picture from us, and you go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of people are that way as long as you give them credit.
Give them credit, and they're happy to let you use it. So
yeah, and Vance says here, the only book
is a coloring book. Well, that's how it starts. You start out when you're a kid doing that. So
he never grown up. He never grown up. Sorry, Vance. But no, with all honesty, if I go write a book, I'm going to need someone to write it for me, because I'm not that great of a writer.
No,
where do you put the periods, the commas?
I'll help you, Bill.
Hey.
Everybody needs help with that. So I mean, that's that's
I can't stay inside the lines.
Oh, thanks, Vance. I can't either. That's why I always think outside the box.
There you go.
Cha-ching. But yeah, and like I told you in the pre-show there, the 18th through the 22nd, we're going up in the Alleghenies to do a scientific research.
Yeah, that sounds real interesting.
And that's the thing is, I've been saying, think outside the box. Now I'm saying the old ways is not getting our answers.
Correct.
Right.
So now we got to start working with some of this technology and see if it can help us.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate new technology. I really do.
Yeah.
But we need it.
We need it. Yeah.
We need it. We need it. We need to get out there with it and start using it and trying to figure this stuff out.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is going to be an interesting, this camp out, and then 8 days later, I'm going to the Alleghenies. And I'm so thankful for being invited up there to do this.
Yep.
It's just awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
And I can't wait.
That'll be a good time for sure. Yep.
Oh, yes. It's going to be very interesting. And I'm still old school. Boots on the ground, get out there, research the ground some, and start using the new technology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I still want to learn more. And Russell, you got to get that book done so I can learn more.
It's coming. It's coming. I hope to get it going. So hopefully before the new year, that's when I get it out there for sale.
Hey, Mike Hartman says, great shows, guys.
Thanks,
Hartman. Mike.
Who the heck is that guy?
Hey, Tara, you got to be quiet. He said, guys.
Oh. Last thing I heard, he was kicked to the curb.
Yeah, he was kicked to the curb.
That's right. He was laying in the gutter.
I would know.
Kicked to the curb and laying in the gutter.
Oh. He's on a roll.
On the roll, right? It's coming.
All right, Mike, it's on.
Yep. Look out.
Here we go.
Yep. Gotta have
There.
some fun.
There.
What?
Be careful what you ask for.
Well, I had me laughing like anything the other day. Oh my good gracious! I look forward to it. I was laughing so hard.
Yep.
You know, between Vance and Mike being on tonight, I don't know. We might. You know.
We miss Shane though.
Nah. Oh, we love Shane too. You know, I got Mike, Shane, me, then Russell. You jump in there.
Yep. I put in my 2 cents worth every so often. I can't help it. It's like, oh, this is going to be good. I got to pick on him about this.
Awesome. Keep doing it. Keep him on his toes.
Yeah, it's all in good fun, and you need to laugh some. So it's like, have a good time. It's like,
that's the thing. It can't all be serious with this
Mm-mm.
stuff, and we do get serious about our research.
Yep.
But we do like to play too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's one thing. You can tell when Mike gets upset or getting stressed. That's when he gets online and starts slamming me. Or things are getting to him. He jokes. Seriously, that's his vent.
That's his vent.
And some things he says, if I didn't know him, could be hurtful. But it's not.
It's not. No.
It's not.
Yep. Hopefully he doesn't forget you, Dr. Pepper.
Well, a lot of times too, when he's talking, he's got a grin on. He's trying to hide a grin on his face when he's saying stuff too.
The Sasquatch have a sense of humor.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah, especially the young ones.
Yes, because the son of a bitch scared the hell out of me and laughed the whole way down the hill.
I have a little story about Mary Green. She had a wood stove in her house, and she'd start the wood stove up, and the juvenile saw the smoke coming out the chimney, so he knew that the stove was going. So he walked up to the base of the chimney, and there's a clean out door there, small little door. He opened the door and then ran off and hid. And of course, when you do that, it changes the draft. So some of the smoke went inside the house. So Mary came out and then looked and saw the door open at the bottom of the chimney. So she went and closed it and went back in the house. And then here comes the juvenile up there again. He opens the door again, goes back and hides, does the same thing. She comes out. She sees the door open again. How's that open? So she closed the door and put something up against it, a rock or something. She went back in, and sure enough, the juvenile came out and did that again. So it's like this went on for quite a while, but she recognized that's what was happening after a while, but not initially. But
oh wow,
that juvenile was doing that as being a jokester. It's like
it
wasn't. She didn't want the smoke inside her house.
That's the thing. The Herman Munster laugh that one did. Mike said. No, I think that might have been Shane. But with all honesty, though, I think the one I saw was doing what you call count and coup, where they try to get as close to you as possible. Without being noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, within 15 feet is close enough for him to get noticed.
Yeah.
I wish I noticed him sooner.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Oh, by the way, Josh Ensley's out there.
Oh,
He's the one that was laughing at Mike's glowing teeth.
the glowing teeth.
That was great.
Looked kind of like a jack-o'-lantern. It's like
He did.
Mike can turn off the lights in his house and just put his chin on the windowsill and just hold the light up.
Oh, Jesus. Mike, I'm not saying that stuff now. Leave me out of it.
Yeah, I'm going to be in trouble. I know.
Mike, why are you picking on me? I'm sticking up for you. It's the other ones.
I'm not saying anything.
Liar.
I didn't say anything. I laughed.
Oh my God, Angel's out there watching. Hope you're feeling better, Angel. Yeah. With all seriousness, me and Mike got some things planned that we're going to do this weekend on our research. Who did I have on my show?
Well,
The glowing teeth.
Do some research with him up there. That'll be good. Get a little
Yes.
time in the woods.
Yes, and then we're going to do the Mike and Bill show.
Oh boy.
Yes, it is, Barbara. It's going to be a great weekend. Yeah, the Mike and Bill show will be back on again.
Okay. I'll have to catch that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be doing it live, too. Right. Grant? Angel, you ain't allowed to die. My BFF, Ghost Chick Angels, she had a procedure done on her back today. But she's out there now.
Yay, Angel. That explains Bill with your brain farts and your bad breath.
I don't have bad breath, you shithead.
Oh, Angel, you're wonderful.
Oh, God. It's going to be that, Angel, I'm telling you. Too bad Tara's not there to see it.
I know.
But no. She has to go suck it. Never mind.
I'm doing my first engagement, so I'm looking forward to that.
I thought she was engaged before.
My first engagement. Well, wait, what? Now I'm so confused.
Oh, God.
It's not hard to confuse me.
Okay, I'm done. Yeah. You'll do good, Tara. Brain farts and all.
Okay. I appreciate the well wishes.
We got some information out there. That's always nice. Get some information out when you do a show, and then still have some fun to boot. So
yes. So I think it'll go smoothly.
My man Russell knows too. He's done it.
The Bigfoot Mafia boss man owes me a get out of jail free card. So
I'm not the Don. I'm just the enforcer.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Vance, take care, buddy. Thanks for stopping in.
Bye, Vance. Thank you. Just find a squad. Thanks, Angel.
But yeah, the thing is, so is share the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
when you go out.
Absolutely.
And Russ, you've been doing all these different podcasts and you've been sharing a lot of knowledge. And
I try.
yeah, and we do appreciate and love you for it, man. We really do.
Well,
And
I enjoy it. I enjoy the hunt of looking for good information and then getting it out there so people can learn something and get the thinking process going. So
exactly.
that's what it's all about. So
Yeah, and that now here's a good question. Once a this was thrown at me, and I told her I'm going to be using it from now on. Now that say that Bigfoot was found, they got it, they brought it out, dead or alive, and whatever, more likely dead. Are you going to stop researching it?
no, because I think there's 3 different kinds at least. So, just getting one, it doesn't mean that they're all going to be the same. So I still think there's 3 different types. And so I think the research goes on. I mean, it may be certainly helped a great deal by having an actual body, but I think we've gotten so much from the Patterson-Gimlin film that, I mean, we didn't need a body for some of the stuff we've gotten off of that film. It's pretty incredible how it walks, muscle tone, and just so much stuff that we have got without having a body. So I'm not sure a body is really totally needed, but I mean, there would be certain parts that we could learn something from, I'm sure. But yeah.
Well, here's my answer. No, I will not stop because number one, all right, yeah, we got a body. I already know they're out there. I saw one.
Mm-hmm.
So a body don't mean nothing to me. I want to know how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and when they're doing it. And the whole 9 yards that way. That is the part of the research that we still got to understand. We know they're out there.
Yep.
Now we need to understand why they're doing this and when they're doing it and what they're doing it for.
Yep.
So
absolutely. Because they do everything for a reason. So it's like they're not doing it for their health; they're doing it for a reason. So it's like, whether they're trying to adapt to a different situation or they're dumpster diving now, which they've never done before, and or whatever. I mean, it could be any number of things, but I think the research would still keep on going for sure. Yeah.
Oh yes, got to. And he said, like 75% said they'll still research the other 25% wouldn't. Excuse me. He laughed when I said this too, and so did a few other people repeating it. Those assholes is just in it for the money and the fame.
Yeah.
That's quits. Boom.
You can't get that out. It's not about that. No, it's about educating people and getting them to think about the question at hand and whether or not your answer is the answer or whether there are multiple answers. And
exactly.
It depends on how you look at it. And there's usually intangibles that come into play on whatever the question is that you're dealing with. So you just have to have an open mind and continue to keep looking and hope you keep finding interesting information that leads to other similarities, but is what you're looking for. So,
and that's exactly why I do this podcast is to find out more. And and that's the thing. We got to learn a hell of a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
We barely scratched the surface, unfortunately.
Well, if you can learn one thing from every show that you watch, it's like one particular thing that gets you thinking about the question at hand, then that's certainly all you could ask for. I mean, if you get more, that's the gravy on the cake right there.
Right.
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 But
with all joking aside, that's the main reason I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I gotta know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yes, inquiring minds gotta know, and this inquiring mind really gotta know. And I hope I get answers before it's my time. You know, you're right, Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she's right.
You're right.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
I gotta agree because we have. If it wasn't for our curious minds, we wouldn't know half the stuff we know now and the
Mm-hmm.
technologies and all that. Uh, I hear an ambulance, but
Yeah, there's always going to be more questions than answers with this topic. It's just the way it is. But it's like you hope that you may not have an answer for something, but if you're pointed in the right direction, it might at least take you to the next step, and that's all you
Mm-hmm.
can hope for at that point.
yeah, you keep hoping to get pointed in the right direction, even though you made a wrong turn. Thanks, Sarah. I was getting ready to do that. But you know I made a couple wrong turns investigating and researching and that, but you learn from them.
Right. Yep.
And I know what I saw when I saw it. I know what I saw on that thermal when I was at Corky's. I know I debunked 75% of the structures, tree structures, and that. I debunked 75% of them. That 25%, I don't know, possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Russell, there goes the neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
Shane Spencer's watching.
Oh, Shane's on here now.
Yes. Oh, geez. And Mike's being quiet, so.
He's plotting his next move.
But yeah, we just need to figure that out. You're right, Angel. Zero experts. We're all bushwhackers. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Yeah, there are no experts. There are no experts on this topic. There's a lot of knowledgeable people, but there's no experts.
Well, I made Mike the expert in my group.
Okay.
For the group. He's the group expert. Not saying he's an expert.
He's got a lot of knowledge.
He does have a lot of knowledge. And that's why he's not an expert, and he'll tell you he's not an expert. He's far from it.
Yeah.
But he's a lot closer than some that say they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, expert bullshitter. Angel, you're on a roll tonight. But yeah, so I don't call you an expert, but I call you one of the most knowledgeable men I know, Russell.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think I'm pretty knowledgeable on a number of aspects of this topic.
Yes.
And that's because I spend so much time in front of the computer and stuff, because I can't get out in the woods as much as I used to. I used to work for the Forest Service and Vermont State Parks and the North Carolina Forest Service. And so I was outdoors all the time when I was working. But now I can go out and I could still walk a short distance, but I can't go too far. So I spend a lot of time on the computer researching and looking for tidbits of information, just tiny little things that are really, interesting and part of this particular topic of Sasquatch. So, and that's what I do. I spend a lot of time. So it's like, hopefully it rubs off and I'm able to, present some stuff
Right.
to other people.
All right, you have to me, and that's a guarantee. And I thank you for that too. And like I said, I won't call you an expert because there's no experts out there, but you're one of the most knowledgeable ones I know.
Well, I hope I can pass it along to someone else. That's the main thing, is for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, Mike's book is pretty good, even if it was just for a $2 yard sale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I shouldn't have taken it out to the vehicle already. So I can say, here, I'll sell this one for $1.50.
Oh boy, there you go.
Russell, I just want to say thank you so much for talking to us tonight. And well, I just want to let you know that you've had my brain thinking a lot tonight.
Well, that's good. That's what I hope to do when I speak and let out present some information that gets people thinking. I mean, that's what.
Well, now I'm going to call him the Miracle Man.
Yeah.
Got your brain working. Corky, we just spoke about you and you show up. Jeez, oh man. Now, I was at Corky's not this past Memorial weekend, but the year before. And we had two sitting there out of a small metal bucket of peanuts that was hung in a tree on up the hill of the research area. And it had a couple glow sticks on it. And I saw it start waving around 1 o'clock in the morning, going back and forth. And I'm looking at it like, am I seeing things? Because we were all just sitting around the fire BSing and turn around. I did it again. And I'm like, guys, that bucket's moving. Jay Pouch had the thermal. They all jumped up there looking, and Jay got the thermal on it. I tried to take a picture with my phone of the picture on the thermal, but all I got was a white blob. But you could see the two sitting up there eating peanuts, watching us. Yeah, you got two new babies now in the research area.
Oh, wow.
He does. Yeah.
Yep.
Shane, any squatch around Mike will run off squealing like a pig. Once Mike smiles. Oh, Jesus. But anyhow, I have to get him a face mask.
A hockey face mask, right.
Leave poor Mike alone. No, don't leave him alone. Don't leave him alone. No. The more you pick on, the more he leaves me alone because he'll go after you. But anyhow, folks, we're going to wrap this up. Russell, stick around for a couple minutes.
Okay.
I want to thank everyone for coming on and watching and commenting. Russell, it's great as always having you here.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
I'm so glad you was able to fill in for Ernie. Things will get better for him soon.
Yep, for sure. Yep, and then he'll be on, and he's got a great account. So
yes, he does, and I do. He has told me about his account. We talked many times in the past year and a half on the phone, and he's filled me in on it, and it's like, wow, some of that stuff, it's wow.
Yeah.
But all right, folks, thank you again. We've been at it for an hour and a half now, and I got to finish packing my vehicle for the morning.
This has been an Agents of the Unexplained original podcast. Like us on Facebook, subscribe and view on YouTube, and please visit our store link in the bio. Thank you for listening, and remember that paranormal is the new normal.